Okay, hello everyone. My name is Luca Mascaro and I'm a user experience architect at LKSE14. I'm also the founder of the company. My company is a company specialized in experience design consultancy, research and product management. So until now we are a team of 18 people and we work both all around Europe. And what I want to share today, it's about in the last 3 years we have tried to adopt agile and lean methods inside our team. We are gathering some coaching, we are discussing about our process tools, and we also try to apply lean principle to experience design project. Today I want to share with you that kind of experience. So first of all, how many of you know what it means experience design? Okay, experience design is an emerging discipline that the idea is that we start from understanding how the people live experience in service, with service, product, process. And what we try to do is try to improve the experience and enable the people to live good experience by technology and by the design. So we work not really on a single product, but we work cross-product, service, system, and to customer, to internal people. So it's a really complex work that starts from design perspective, and we work with many organizations. The point is, from experience design is a discipline, usually it's adopt some kind of a waterfall process. So we need to analyze all the user needs, and then we need to understand the experience. Next, we redesign the system. Next, we try and evaluate the result. But the point is, it's also possible to use other approach to this kind of discipline. But the only point is about value. What is the value from the perspective of experience design? Value for us is not about delivering some piece of software or a design in terms of some kind of static stuff. But value for us is reach the goal to, through the good experience, reach the adoption, reach the engagement of the people, and reach the loyalty of the people to the service. And also another of our goal, it's about higher the perceived value in terms of price of the product or the service in front of the people. For example, Starbucks is a company that adopts a lot of experience design approach, and the idea is when you go to Starbucks, you don't buy a coffee, you buy some kind of experience inside Starbucks, and the coffee is part of the experience. So the point is, okay, lean experience design, what do you mean? Or how? The point is, I want to share with you 5 real practice that we have lived in one of our latest projects. And the project is the redesign of the Gazzetta dello Sport. We have redesigned the entire ecosystem and the brand of Gazzetta dello Sport. It's a really complex product and system because there are more than 17 different products and touch points inside the ecosystem. We have tried to release the next generation of the design for improve the people experience of the single product. We work across the experience, the product and service, the editorial, the process and tool, and the organization. So we need to go deeper in the organizational part. And we have only the main goal in the original was we need to redefine the vision of the new experience in 24 iterations of 1 week. So the goal was in only 24 iterations, you need to completely redefine all our ecosystem, all our experience. So from our perspective, our goal was not only improving the process in the customer context, the team process through iteration and review, inspect and adapt, but also improving the product and service experience. So we need to cross that's the goal. And what we have learned from that project was some emerging practice. The first practice was we are work across the project in small team, but with the focus of collaboration with the client and stakeholder based on co-design workshop. Every iteration we have applied some kind of 1 day, 2 days co-design workshop with stakeholder and user. at the beginning of the iteration. So it's not only about create the priority of this iteration, but it's also about co-design with user, co-design with the stakeholder. What is probably the next version of the product, and what are the issue that the user until now have, the pain point that the user have in the actual experience. The second practice that we have applied in the project, and it's really great practice for me, it's the team has been enabled to use user research and testing on demand. So when the team needs to go to the user and try to understand something and try to test something, the team has the opportunity every week to go to the user. Maybe for 2 hours, maybe for 1 day, but it's in charge of the team decide, oh, now we need to go to the user, now we need to learn something, now we need to have some feedback. And this involves also the stakeholder. Every time we rent the room with the magic glass, magic mirror, and we have all the stakeholder in the back of the mirror that learn something from the user, and next we share all together what can be the possible idea and improvement. The third practice was about not design all the product together, and not focusing on the single page. For example, oh, we need to design the home page, or we need to design the article. But what we try to do is create some kind of design of the flow. So every time we try to design end-to-end the user flow and the single user experience through the product, the service, and the process vision. The fourth practice is have an holistic global vision of the experience, but focus on the single flow at time. So it's similar to the past one. And the fifth practice was, and is my favorite one, is every iteration we haven't finished anything. We are working on something that can be incomplete, imperfect, and impermanent, because we need feedback. So we show to the stakeholder, we show to our product owner something that is not complete. And it's strange, but it's work for the design perspective, because we can share knowledge, we can learn something, and maybe we can say, oh, it's good enough, it's okay. Maybe we need only to finish these 2 points and it's okay. The big lesson that we have learned is building experience design. For us, it's from this experience, it's all about collaboration and gather feedback as soon as possible from continuously evolve the product vision. Because experience design is not about delivering the product, not only, but in many cases it's about evolving the product vision or define the product vision. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Giulio. Today I want to tell you my story as Agile coach in Wolters Kluwer, Italy. In December 12, the Wolters Kluwer Italy CTO asked me, can we improve the time to market? I replied, yes, if we follow an evolutionary approach. And we start with an evolutionary approach. First is from January to March, we introduce a Kanban board for just one team, a pilot team, an operation team that do maintenance over 10 products online. And then we introduce a Scrum approach, a Scrum framework for another pilot team for a big project. After that, the pilot is gone well, and all people are happy. And now we have a problem. We have a problem that is 200 initiatives in flight, not just one, and 400 persons involved in these initiatives. How can we scale this approach? And we try to scale, starting from the first value, visualize. Visualize and ensure. We call this room Sala Caravaggio. All paints on the room, on the wall of the room. On the left, you can see the project canvas, like vision board, product canvas, business model canvas. that help to create a portfolio of initiatives on the Kanban board. All executives meet every 2 weeks to understand if there are bottlenecks, impediments, and if there is something that is not aligned with the vision of the company. And this start involve all departments, all 400 persons. This is a detail. We have split the Kanban board in 2 boards, the pre-funnel where we gather all initiatives, and the funnel where initiatives are more analyzed in detail and developed and deployed. In the pre-funnel, we use a technique, the vision board, to create a visual vision of the initiatives, and we use a t-shirt sizing to estimate the cost and the value of the initiative in order to do a rank, or in order to discard an initiative that is not that doesn't bring value to the company. If after this gate, just some initiatives pass to the next board, and we go in deep and deep and deep until the deploy of the initiative, the project. This is more a Kanban of the Kanban card of one of the initiative, and these are the vision board, business model Kanbans, and the product Kanbans for each initiative. Then you have a card, and you share vision, business model, and product Kanbans visually for each card. And just the cards that are aligned with the business go on. After that, we start to measure, not just to have paper, but also to have some data. We are gathering this data to understand if we can improve, and to understand which are our KPIs, to understand the improvement. Now, in May, we have reached some goals. The first one is that we have a continuous alignment between business and ICT people, all together in the same room every 2 weeks. And they find a solution for the bottlenecks together. And there is a low resistance to change, is an evolutionary approach, not a big bang approach. In the slide share, we can see also other goals reached. I have few times, then I don't know if maybe just 2 minutes and then complete. And the next challenges, the reduce WIP, and we start to monitor the WIP, but we have to reduce this one. Otherwise, there are a lot of intercommunication between projects, dependency between projects, and people say, I am product owner, but I have a lot of job to do. But you are a product owner, yes, but I have other things to do. Then because you have a lot of stuff in the middle. Then we want to reduce the WIP limit, sustain product owner in the evolution of the portfolio, and avoid exception. Sometimes it happens that the initiatives go in development without pass any other step. 5 minutes, done. We have defined our vision, the mountain, but we are not able to define the path now. We are trying to define the path step by step. Then, thanks a lot. I hope that this can be an inspiration for you.
So, a few notes about change. Many of these probably are related to what you already heard by Håkan and partially by other people. Yes, this quote is from Edward Deming, that was mentioned earlier. That was an American professor, statistician, and consultant that worked mostly with Japanese companies after the Second World War. And basically, he's just saying that it's not mandatory to change, but still, this doesn't work. Sorry. Really still in, no. Yes. Don't panic. I don't. I know. È una dote, eh? Posso toglierlo? Non funziona?
No, questo che frega nemmeno.
Ah. Maybe.
Excuses is.
No. Yes. Okay. At least manually. So, well, we know we have to change, but we always find a lot of excuses. And ironically, the excuses we find are exactly the reasons why we should change. That is, we have no time, we're too busy to change, and that's exactly the reason why you should change. So, isn't that ironic? But among the excuses to avoid us try to change is that a lot of change initiatives fails. The number can be questionable, but anyway, a big majority of change initiatives fail. So why should I bother? I know from the beginning that I'm doomed to fail, and so why should I? Still, we try to change, but we typically focus on productivity, getting more from the same old people, thinking that the people are wrong and not the system, right? And we typically fall into the classical Tayloristic approach. A few people design the solution, and many of them will implement it. Managers, why should be involved in the change? They should do it. I designed it, right? And we always try to do best practice. We still believe in best practices. I think after this morning you probably have some doubts about that, but still a lot of people does. And so we go into this big design change. From wherever you are, maybe we don't even know where we are, but for sure there will be a nice, shining final destination that works for you. Like for him, like for you. It's the same final destination, and you can magically go there. Just follow us, consultants, or whatever it is. Now, I will be a bit polemic now, but in the Agile world currently, there are a lot of scaled Agile framework things. SAFe is one of them, not the only one, but basically they are just doing the same thing. Yes, we know where you should go. No matter where you are, just get some training with us and you're done. Well, why do we still believe in fairy tales? So, question. Well, one reason, not the only one, is that we can't stand uncertainty. That's our brain has evolved during all the hundreds of thousands of years that we have evolved. And we don't like uncertainty. So we always want exact answers, like when we do estimation, right? So we focus on how and what, and a lot of times we forgot why. Why are we changing? Why do we want to change? And by the way, often we confuse what we want from what we need. A lot of times we forget about this. So a good question is, how do you know it doesn't work? And how will you know it will work? That means, how do you measure? Metrics. You need metrics. Measurable things. And you can spot what's going on just listening to the words that are being used. If you hear design change, enforce change, fix things, then you mean you are in a legacy kind of context, where there's a push approach, while a more modern and working way is to use experiment, discover, learn. You heard this morning a lot, right? Some typical words are these: we are installing a change, rolling out a change, and the mythical culture change that you hear every 2 minutes. Unfortunately, you can't design a culture change. Culture change is an outcome. You just absorb it by doing and being different. You cannot teach a new culture. You have to do things. So, again, I think you heard this morning, change is more about people than process. And now, in most company websites, you find this sentence, more or less, people are our most important asset, right? Everywhere. So why don't you talk and listen to your people? And why don't you involve them in the change and you design it from top? So if people doesn't see the need for change, if they don't understand it, they will not buy it, and they will do whatever they can to avoid it, to maybe also sabotage, or at least hope it will go away. And in many cases, that's what happens. So people focus much more on what they have to lose than what they have to gain. And so we should change. Instead of telling people what to do, they should ask, how can I contribute? What's my influence and my involvement? And so, very quickly, a few notes about Kanban. We don't have time to speak about Kanban, but the name of this conference is Lean Kanban. So, just a few words. Kanban is an approach to change management, beside sticking cards on the board. And that's based not so much in a revolution. Revolution sometimes fails and leave a lot of casualties on the ground, but much more on an evolutionary approach. This is from Joachim, by the way. And so you start from understanding the system, where you are. Do you really know where you are? Well, that's not always the case. And so just seeing will help you in managing for sure, but more important in changing. If you can't see what's going on, how can you change it? And the usual suspects of the biggest dysfunction we have in organization is lack of flow control. We are so obsessed by productivity and resource efficiency that we lose track of how work is flowing in our system. And the other typical problem is there are too many things to do, too many things going on in parallel. Again, you heard this morning. And guess what? Limiting WIP and managing flow are two of the key practices in Kanban. And then use this evolutionary approach. You define the goal for a small improvement. You define how you will measure it. You do it, check what you've learned, and how you move on and keep on going with these small steps. And some will fail, as this morning was said a lot of times, but that's okay. In Kanban, we say we have a safe-to-fail culture. Failing is okay. Fail to save. Safe to fail, it's okay. So, it's okay if this experiment fails. The important thing is we learn and we move on. So, there's no known destination, unfortunately, but change is a never-ending journey. And that's it. That's it.